Okay, so the situation here is this, right? Already what I'm looking at is this. Somebody's having a hard time compromising or flexing their perspective, how they want things to be done because of a situation that kind of betrayed them from not taking that stance. I feel like somebody in the past may have been the compromiser, the negotiator, the person that's willing to sacrifice something in order for things to kind of go in the direction of harmony and balance and peace, right? So they had to give up a part of themselves a lot of the times in order for there to be a balance. And I feel like somebody may have gotten betrayed and hurt at one point doing that, putting themselves in a situation where they're not being recognized, where they're not, where they don't, they weren't even considered. They were just kind of put in the dirt here. So really devastating ending of a situation. And it makes sense. Like I said, like what brought you two together was the ending of a cycle. And it wasn't joking. It really wasn't. So working on your relationship is the card for this week for y'all. And already going on the mind plane of each section here, which is the very top cards here, and this side being you, Capricorn, but feel free to go on this side here if it doesn't resonate on that side over there. But you coming into this relationship ready to protect it or protecting yourself. Because the thing is, right, with that Five of Swords, I'm already looking at, okay, so who's tense? Who's a little bit apprehensive in regards to allowing themselves to, fold, if that makes sense. Allowing themselves to cave in, right? I feel like there's some diligence towards some things, towards happiness, towards what someone wants. But at the same time, what expense and at what limit does this person go to make sure those things happen? Now, like I said, the Seven of Wands to me looks like this person is defensive of either they're defensive of themselves in this relationship to try and make sure that they're being considered, protective of themselves, to have their walls up, or this person is protective of the relationship itself. Now, because it could go both ways. Simply because of the Seven of Pentacles. This could be that this person is trying to figure out whether or not this relationship is worth pursuing, whether this is worthy of their time, effort, and diligence. Is it worthy of of continuing to push forward? All the work that they put in, is it still worth it? At the same time, this could indicate to them, even though they're defensive of themselves, right? They can still look at the situation and think of how much work needs to be done and what needs to be done. Period. They're looking at the situation, trying to figure out what else needs to take place. Because at this point, even though they've done a lot of work, they've come a long way. They're still not quite where they want to be, but there's also a patience portion of it that's needed, right? I think there's something internally that they have to commit to. And the Seven of Pentacles have always been my on the fence card, just like the Four of Cups. But it's on the fence because this person hasn't completely committed to just completely dumping it, nor have they completely committed to doing the work and continue to fight forward. Right? This person is thinking things through, thinking about what needs to be done, planning ahead, right? But planning ahead in regards to what they could possibly be doing better. How could they improve this? And the reason being is because they are aware of their value. They're reevaluating their own value. They're becoming more clear on what they see, how they see themselves. And they're also very capable of handling their own situation, handling their own self. They're very independent individuals. You guys are known, Capricorns, to be very independent. And I feel like for some of you guys, in a way, you guys are looking at this situation like, okay, I handle this shit on my own all the time anyway. I'm good. Do I really need to incorporate another person into this? As hard as it is to even involve another person, is it worth it? Is it worth it at all? Because I could do it by myself. Now, the Queen of Pentacles can do a lot of things on her own. She can do everything pretty much on her own. But should she? Right? And honestly, limiting yourself to just yourself, it's good to have that confidence and know that you can be able to tackle anything you want, but you can get so much done. You can accomplish so much. The challenge is really figuring out whether or not there's a partner even needed here. And I feel like both parties are kind of getting that sort of vibe, right? This person is like handling this stuff always by themselves and possibly by decision. Somebody may be tired of trying to communicate with the person and help and tell them that they need help, but I don't think that's really the case. I do feel like there may be a balance here that's needed here from seeing from this person. Y'all could be dating a Libra here or a Gemini, but again, these cards are not, are not Libra and Gemini specific. They don't have to be even the signs. I just like to say it because some people do look for that. But I feel like with this person here, they're aware of their independence. They've been doing it alone by themselves. Both parties have been doing it by themselves. It's really they're not ready. It's really honestly figuring out if they are willing to take the extra patience needed to really settle down and build something with this. Because I think there was some progress being made with this relationship previously, and there may have been an upset, but which obviously drove this sort of reevaluation for this individual or for you, Capricorn. But I think they also are aware of what they also get from being in a relationship. Not just like, I get, I don't have to clean the dishes or I don't have to cook for myself. It's also like what they also get out of helping the other person, nurturing, putting time and investing into that person. This person is not just a material. It's not just a practical object for advantage. I feel like the Queen of Pentacles here, like this is considering building roots and truly figuring out if these roots that these seeds that you put in, are they going to blossom in the way that you expect it to be if you continue to put in the hard work, if you continue to really focus and build this relationship. Because even though you can handle stuff on your own and it's easier to do it because you don't have to deal with another person, it also isn't easy because you still got to do it by yourself. And even though you have somebody around you right now that looks like they love you to death and are willing to help you. So it's like that hard, it's that hard tie, right? Do you want to just be alone and do it by yourself? Or are you okay with trying to figure out a way to make the relationship work for the both of you, compromise, and work together? The other person here, the way they think in this relationship, the lovers, you can already expect what that means. They are in love. They are choosing love over their heart, right? How they're presenting themselves is justice. To me, the lovers and justice, that's a unity. That's a union. There's already a profound connection here that this person definitely feels. And like, I think they're very much aware of their capability of doing stuff by themselves, but they also see the benefits of working together. This person understands the benefits that comes with not weighing each other's options, but working together, taking each other's sides, or just, uplifting each other by volunteering to do work for one another or to support one another. There's something here that this person really feels a balance in, right? And and at the same time, it could also indicate that this person, even though they feel great love, they may need to adjust to things. And it may be taking a long time for them because, of course, they have been in the same situation. They've been doing things on their own since the very beginning. They've been handling themselves. So they may have a hard time adjusting with this new dynamic, but it's not something that it's not something that they're unwilling to adjust to. It's just probably taking time for them. Why? Because look at the Eight of Cups. This is the spiritual plane, right? This gives us insight as to why they're presenting themselves the way they present themselves, as well as think the way they think. And it's coming up as the Eight of Cups, which talks about being emotionally drained or feeling emotionally done with the situation. I think they're tired of being burnt out. I think they're tired of having to always hustle and do things alone. I think they honestly understand that being in a teammate sort of dynamic helps them move, not just helps them to, divvy out the balance, divvy out the situation, whatever their lifestyle may be, right? To help them kind of manage that better. But it also allows them to feel something too. It gives them ability to be emotionally balanced too. They can give of themselves and love on themselves at the same time. They can love on you, they can love on themselves, they can give back, they can give to themselves, right? With them always doing stuff, they always had to, of course, find a way to do, be independent and take care of themselves. But I feel like for this, they were just kind of robots doing a lot of their stuff. Just kind of detached and doing everything. And it's not something they enjoy. I think they truly wanted a union, not for the benefits of it, not because they get shit out of it, but mostly because They see the value in having another person in their life. There's experiences that are invaluable. There's, there's connections that are invaluable. And they also see that this relationship is invaluable. It means so much. But they don't want to, I think they're coming from a place of done being single. They're done being by themselves. They're done handling things by themselves. They're done being solo. Because they got what they needed from this. Because the Eight of Cups, if you notice, right, the Eight of Cups is never a card of sadness, anger, just, any of that. It's about getting what you needed from this so you can go after what you truly want. They got what they needed from being independent. So they're ready to expand. They're ready to explore. They're ready to go after what they truly want. And I feel like it's this relationship. But the challenge here is the King of Pentacles, which is actually committing and uniting as a couple. Because you're already the King of Pentacles. Somebody's already the Queen of Pentacles here. Somebody already knows that they're independent. Already knows that they're very, very capable of handling themselves. Very capable of building a future on their own. Very capable of taking the time to manifest something of great value that can last them for a very long time. They're also very much aware of their own value, of what they're worth. But it's about connecting and making that a unity, committing to it. That's the hard part. It ain't easy, but it definitely ain't too hard either. It's about what do you see as a value to you? All right, so you guys have a card here, and it's okay. I like it. Seek the answers from within, and that is the honest to God truth. You got 2 sevens in here, 7 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles. Those two are sevens period are personal changes. There are changes that are reevaluations that are done internally. They're never external. The external can influence a lot of that, but you're still changing personally. And the seek your answers within. It does talk about, it's like a very hermit energy. You're going to need to take some time out to figure out what it is that you want. And most importantly, if this is something that you can see value in. Is this something that you can continue to put work in? I can't answer that for you, and I ain't trying to. Because this is not my life. This is not me. This is not, this is not where this is not where I continue. This is where I end. And the reason why I say that is because I want to give that power back to y'all. Because this tarot reading thing, it doesn't matter what it says. It's ultimately what you want out of it at the end of the day. What do you want out of your life, period? This can give you a snapshot. This can give you information. But at the end of the day, everything goes back to you. And nothing else matters. So what do you want? What do you want to feel? What is this to you? What does this mean to you? Is it too much of a burden for you to continue to work on it? Why go so far? What have you been working so hard on if you don't see the value in it? You know this person is yours. And it's hard to even, it's not a desire to put your heart into this because it's a practical decision that you guys are trying to make. But at the end of the day, you have to look you got to look in the heart for answers. See that eye, the heart with the eye on it? You still have to go through your heart to figure this out. And only you can determine whether or not something has value or not. And that value is based on how that makes you feel. Does it make you feel like you want to protect the relationship or protect yourself from it? So let's go ahead and take a look at the message here. Seek your answers within. If you find yourself confused, your intuition and inner voice drowned out by the answers, wisdom, and advice of others, then it is time for you to step away. Withdraw to a place of solitude. Like the bear, it is time for you to hibernate, to go within and seek the void, to embrace the silence that dwells within. Within the silence are the answers to your questions, and because they are answers both of your truths, they will answer that move. They will be answers that move you forward instead of hold you back. So take the time out really to figure out what is of value to you, what is worth it to you, why you want to continue to move forward, why you don't. Explore why. And think, right? If there is a way for you to overcome this challenge by just communicating and coming up with strategies and to compromise, why not try it? You know, it's a difficult reading. You know, it's difficult only because there's so many ways you can read it, and there's so many possibilities, and there's so many different ways it can swing. And honestly, it's a difficult reading because it's basically touching on, you know, on a personal shift that only you can really know. Only you can really understand the depths of. I can always see it, but to really be in it, that's on you. But hey, the advice is work on on your partnership, because I think there's something here that you do obviously see a value in, because you wouldn't have worked this hard. You wouldn't come this far if you didn't see it valuable.